Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Today there are a few topics I'm going to cover with you. Right off the top, the one I'm going to delve into first. There are a couple analysts predicting bad things for the price of XRP. One says that the Ripple promoted token is in free fall, and another one says that XRP is going down to 8 cents. This is FUD. I am going to squash this FUD because I am Mr. XRP Bull, and I won't have it. Not in my house, all right? Also going to talk about, this is fascinating, and I'm just going to cover it. I don't have an opinion. I don't have a ton of facts, but as it turns out, I saw this tweet today stating that Bitcoin.com was originally registered in 2007, 2 years prior to it existing. So I'm just going to, the little tidbits we got, you can put on your tinfoil hat if you want. It's just a for fun type of thing, and it's fascinating. If this is true, then dig in more. Somebody needs to let us know exactly what's going on, but there is not much information on that. I just want to mention it just for the fun of it. Then I'm going to talk about also, and I think this will be a fun topic, we've got a back and forth between a Bitcoin maximalist, very anti-XRP, and XRP veteran Matthew Hamilton, who is at Hammertoe on Twitter, and they're talking about the decentralization of Bitcoin versus XRP, so I want to delve in there, engage in a little bit of critical thinking, and see who actually makes sense in that Twitter thread. So that's what I got coming up for you today here. Before we get going, though, if you would please delicately tap that like button, and go ahead and subscribe if you are a fan of Ripple and XRP, because this is an XRP-centric channel here. And it's not based on emotions. It's not based on some sort of tribal ideology. It's based on the fundamentals. It's based on the facts. I go where the facts take me. All right, so right here I want to start, and this has to do with price. And this is from ambcrypto.com. This piece is titled, Bitcoin reestablishes its dominance over alts, surpasses its 2017 peak. And the piece starts out, Bitcoin is not just the oldest cryptocurrency in the market, but it is also leading the other cryptos to the #1 position on the cryptocurrency charts. During the 2017 bull run, Bitcoin peaked on December 7, 2017, and established its 65.42% dominance over other coins, according to Twitter user @RegalChicken. That's an XRP guy there. I believe it. Yeah, that's right. That's Regal Chicken. And anyway, so then they write, after looking into the old charts on CMC, CoinMarketCap, it was noted that Bitcoin's dominance on December 7th, 2017 was 64.43. So like they really parsed those numbers right there and looked into it. Okay, fine. So it's the same thing fundamentally. And let me read this little snippet here, and then we're going to get into it really. The article towards the end, it states, however, the hockey stick movement of Bitcoin has made many users skeptical and provoked them to switch ships. Most of the crypto community invested in alts are hoping for an alt season to follow Bitcoin's all-time high, but this theory is being put to the test whenever Bitcoin surges. Recently, the trend of Bitcoin carrying the alts has been broken. And according to a user's speculations, the next bull run might leave most alts on the bench and not in the race. Now, that point was made by, I know Peter Brandt. There are a couple people I've cited recently in my videos that have shared that point of view. One was Peter Brandt, and he's the one with a few 100,000 Twitter followers, and he does all sorts of like charting, technical analysis, that type of stuff, makes price predictions, or states the direction in which he thinks price is going to go, all that good stuff. And he's been doing that for a career. So he's doing all sorts of stuff along those lines prior to cryptocurrencies even existing. And his opinion is that in this run-up, you're not going to see the alts go. You're not going to see them go in line with Bitcoin. If that were to ring true, that would mean that there would just be Bitcoin at the top and nothing else goes. Now, I don't believe for a moment it's going to look like that, and we're going to tie XRP into all of this, of course. But to me, conceptually, that's kind of silly, because if that were to be the case, that would mean that the world would just suddenly believe that there is no utility to the other coins. If in a world where they don't go up in price, whatever, and it really is just Bitcoin forever, that would mean that the world would have to acknowledge that there is no actual utility. But what's actually been happening over the last decade, especially as there have been additional coin cryptocurrencies created, consider this point, and this is important conceptually to understand why I don't really fully buy into this. I think, yes, some coins, maybe they're never going to get to any notable level ever again. Perhaps it's reasonable to hold that position, but consider this. Top coins. Why are the top 10 coins in the top 10? Now, look, we know that all coins move in tandem with the price action of Bitcoin more or less. Not literally to a T, not down to the minute, the hour, the day, the week, the month necessarily, but they do move in tandem. So why are any coins having staying power within the top 10? The truth of the matter is, despite the correlation in terms of price action between all of these coins, as far as Bitcoin goes up, Bitcoin goes down, others follow. Despite the fact that's true, people are factoring other things. At least some people are. Some people are. The speculators in the asset class as a whole, we're still trying to figure out as a whole, is cryptocurrency something, is it not? And that's what the market is betting on, in my mind, primarily. But there are some. I'm one of them, so I'm a perfect example of this, and you may be too, because you're probably a well-researched XRP investor if you're listening to this channel. I'm willing to bet, because that's who I'm focusing on, because that's my genuine interest. I like to talk about stuff I'm interested in, so that I don't sound too bored while I'm talking to you. But it's based on fundamentals. For me, it's based on fundamentals, and there are others out there like that. And there are enough people that have research projects that think that certain ones will have staying power, and those are the ones that are more likely to be large cap coins. Those are the ones that are likely to be in the top 10 or just relatively high on the front page of Coin Market Cap or Live Coin Watch. Those are the ones. They are ranked again in a somewhat rational order to some degree, even though irrationality in the sense that people don't know where things are going. There still is utility to it, even though people are buying and selling to unrationally to some degree sometimes, and so that's why it's moving in tandem with Bitcoin, right? So, given that's the only rational explanation why XRP has been in the top 10 coins pretty much forever. I don't think it's ever been outside of that. It's typically been in the top 4 or 5. Currently, number 3 according to Live Coin Watch, anyway. And so, again, there's a specific reason for that. So, given that people are valuing certain cryptocurrencies to some degree based on utility, does it make sense that Bitcoin would skyrocket into infinity forever and nothing ever goes along with it? Does that make any sense? When we already see that that's not how humans are behaving. Yes, we see that there's price action in tandem with pretty much all coins in correlation with Bitcoin, but it's not exclusively how all traders or speculators are choosing to look at the asset class. So once you have that understanding, you can say, okay, well, it wouldn't make any sense at all for no altcoins to rise. And so you got to think, well, okay, which ones will? You could have a case, kind of like it was in 2017, where pretty much just all of them go up. I'm not completely sold on that one way or the other. I'm really not. So I don't have as firm an opinion as Peter Brandt, for example. I do think that there will always be. I think that utility is going to win today. That's the best way to say what I was thinking. Utility is going to win today, and what does that mean price wise as a result? I think that XRP has not seen its best days in terms of price action. I don't believe for a moment that the all time high of XRP at $3.92 will be the highest price that XRP will ever have been capable of achieving. I don't believe. And this is not financial advice, by the way. I'm regular Joe Schmo, no financial background. I'm just well-researched on XRP and certain crypto topics in particular. And since I have a certain passion for it for whatever reason, I'm sharing my opinion with you. That is it. Do not buy or sell because of any of this. Don't get all hyped up. This is not a hype channel. This is more of a critical thinking channel. And that's where this is all coming into play here. And that's why I'm discussing this in a unidirectional conversation. Wish I could sit down and talk to you. That'd be more fun, but I'm just sitting in a room by myself. Well, I got my dog on the couch here, but other than that, I'm just sitting here talking to myself. It's a weird concept, but here I am. So anyway, I'm not worried about XRP moving up. And so even if there is an additional sell-off, and I don't know what XRP is at right now, was it 33 cents earlier today or something like that? I don't even care if it goes down further. It doesn't matter to me. I believe utility will win the day, and I'll just continue to accumulate along the way while everybody else has a lack of confidence and goes with the crowd. I'm gonna stick with fundamentals and what I firmly believe, and I firmly believe that humans are going to act in this fashion where history shows there's this follow the leader type of thing, follow the crowd. There's fear of missing out, and then there's panic selling. I'm counting on that, and I will not be participating. I absolutely will not be participating in that nonsense. But I'm counting on most humans doing that, and I think that that's why I've got an opportunity to ride XRP probably to a rather high price point, even if it's over a prolonged period of time, even if it takes a long time for any altcoins to come back. That's perfectly fine by me. Now take a look at this nonsense. This is what I want to squash here. This is so stupid. TradingView tweeted this out. Unfortunately, during the last 3 weeks, Ripple XRP has erased almost 6-month gains. Click the link to grab a fresh analysis. from at Crypto Briefing on TradingView. And so here's the analysis from Crypto Briefing TA. And they got their nice little TA. And I'm not a chart guy, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to talk about fundamentals on this. They're using what they believe is sound technical analysis to come to this conclusion and put this out into the world. Because look at what it states here. Price analysis XRP USD. Ripple promoted token in free fall. It's in free fall? Is it? What was it in like the beginning of 2017? Half a cent? Do you really believe that this is like it's just going to go down from here and it's never going to see better days? Because I don't believe that for a moment. So here's what it's stating in the short term. Here's their argument. Ripple has a bearish short-term trading outlook with the XRP USD pair falling below its 200 period moving average on the 4-hour time frame. The 4-hour time frame is showing that the XRP USD pair has triggered a head and shoulders pattern with price trading well below the neckline of the bearish pattern. Okay. Here's what I want to say on this, and there's another one that's even worse after this that I got to share with you. On this particular nonsense, look, like I just stated, there are a lot of people that are probably the majority. I would be willing to say that the majority of speculators are buying and selling based. Part of it's emotion, of course, and then part of it is just they're betting on the asset class as a whole, and that's why people are jumping in and out to different coins. Some of them are just chasing a quick buck, which I refuse to do. I'm not going to do that. I don't think that's a smart long-term plan. Not for me, anyway. If you're doing that, no offense to you at all. Maybe you're more savvy when it comes to trading. Totally cool. I respect that. For me, it doesn't make sense. For me, that wouldn't be smart. Me personally, that's what I'm saying. But People were saying back in the day that XRP would never break $1. Some people used to say it would never break 10 cents. And so for this type of outlook to make sense, you have to completely ignore. First of all, part of what we're talking about here is in terms of the coins, altcoins moving up and down the Bitcoin. You have to, in order for this to be your stance that it's just in free fall and that's just how it's going to be from now on. You have to take Peter Brandt's position. In part, which is that altcoin season ain't coming. It ain't coming. But let me run on the next one because then I can kind of illustrate further what these types of people are thinking. Here's another one from TradingView. Would you still believe that XRP will be higher than $1 if the price falls below 10 cents? And here's this piece. This is analysis from London 55555. And I don't know if this is somebody. I've never heard of them before. And there's so 1,000 people follow them. Apparently, I don't know. Never heard of this person before. But it says their opinion: XRP will see you at an eventual 8 cents. And then there isn't really any explanation down here as to why that is. And so to me, it just seems like nonsensical FUD. There's nothing to this. How are we projecting that out so far? It doesn't make any sense. There's just a blank chart here, basically. But this is being promoted also by TradingView because this is a user on TradingView, and then TradingView is like, oh, this is something we want to highlight. And so in one single day, yeah, these are both from today. TradingView decided to put out some FUD into the world. So what do the operators of this particular Twitter account think about XRP? You should, rather than let this scare you, first of all, read into further about what that says about TradingView. That doesn't give me a particularly positive opinion of them. It just seems to be nonsense FUD. And so, where does this type of thing come from? It's like the whole concept of Bitcoin maximalist, but when you see the level of adoption that's occurring with Ripple's actual technology, did you see the progress in India where it's like the vast majority, if not all banks in India are using Ripple's technology, at least X-Current? And think about the corridors that opens up for XRapid eventually to be utilized on top of that one day. I do see that will be coming. I just mark my words here. If I were going to I don't make price predictions. I predict that is coming. And then you've got MoneyGram on board with XRP. If they thought that this is going to crash and be a big nothing, do you think that they'd be investing? So is it more likely that MoneyGram and Ripple are on the right path? Or is it more likely that this guy, London 55555, and TradingView are correct and this is all going to be a big nothing? And that's not even to speak of all of the other XRP developers out there like Coil and R3 and Omni and Scooter Brown and all those good guys out there are actually building on top of the ledger for various use cases. So this is complete nonsense, and when I see garbage like this, I want to highlight it and call it out for what it is. It's garbage. It's not happening. I just don't believe it. And the thing that's frustrating me about this is this. I'm sure this is scaring some people. It's making certain people question their investments, and I think that there's potentially ill intent behind it. And if there's not ill intent, how come there's no reasonable explanation? Like, there's no explanation here at all. You can scroll down. It's just this piece. Hey, it's going to be 8 cents. We're throwing this out into the world here on January 12th, 2019. No frickin' explanation whatsoever. And when this happens, people deserve to be called out for what it is. And so that's all I want to say on that topic for today. But we'll move on to the next thing here. And this is from Tiffany Hayden. And this is the thing I was saying about Bitcoin.com. This tweet says, so, in 2007, before Bitcoin was born, the websites Bitcoin.com and SmartContract.com were using IPs in the same block. And then she cites what the block is. Enter Server Incorporated. And then she links to it, so you can click on it here if you want to go see it. I'm not pulling that up right now, though. And then there's another tweet here from her, same topic. 2007 was weirdly busy considering Bitcoin hadn't even been invented yet. Another Fox Acid server IP. And I hadn't heard of Fox Acid prior to today, but it has to do with the government. So check this out. In 2007, smartcontract.com was hosted on that IP also. And then she writes, seems odd, just me, question mark, right? And then I think I wanted to read this one too. Yeah, this is another tweet right after that she wrote. Placing this here for now just because it's interesting, the Office of Tailored Access Operations, TAO, now Computer Network Operations structured as S321 is a cyber warfare intelligence gathering unit. Oops, I just clicked on it. Intelligence gathering unit of the National Security Agency. And so somehow this is all intertwined. And so I've never heard of any of this before today. Again, I just wanted to share it with you because it's fascinating. And also, since I am not educated beyond this, since this just popped up for the first time ever today, if anyone else has additional thoughts on this that you can share with me so I can learn more, I'm interested in that. If you have any links to websites, I'm interested in that too, so that I can discuss it in further videos. And I'll be happy to credit you if you do send me any information as well. And then here's one more from Tiffany on this. She tweeted out to Senator Schumer here, hey, Senator Schumer, what's Fox Acid? Isn't it odd that in 2007 the IP address, and then she cites the address, was being used to host a Fox Acid server and the domain bitcoin.com? Look forward to hearing from you. Thanks. And then hashtag free Ross, which is, I believe he's the Silk Road guy that's in jail for like 2.5 life terms or something stupid like that. Anyway, so what do you guys think about this? I don't even have an opinion, but this is coming from a prominent member of the XRP community, so of course I'm covering this. And I mean, I'll take her at her word. I did click on that link. I just didn't pull up for this video. I didn't do any additional digging myself, but I am interested in thoughts. How is it that Bitcoin.com was registered when that term didn't even exist allegedly until 2009 when it was launched? And what's with the connections here? I mean, you could say it was Satoshi in theory. I'm just me thinking off the top of my head. You could say that it was registered in 2007 because it was under development for so long, perhaps. I'm not seeing that case made here in these threads, but it's just me kind of speculating here. So I don't know. Just let me know what you think. I'm sharing it with you. That's all I got on it. But there we are. Now here's this tweet from XRP Symbol at XRP Symbol. Tweeted out. Details on the emails received by Ripple staff and other critical people during and after the XRP symbol vote will be released soon. Now, for those of you that haven't been around the XRP community for too long, you may not know this, but the symbol for XRP, which is a cryptocurrency, the symbol that was being used was the logo of a company, Ripple. The Ripple logo, that little fidget spinner looking thing, that was used as the XRP logo like pretty much forever. And then there was a process that it went through, and it was, of course, no doubt people from Ripple were involved in this to whatever degree, and then XRP community members were as well, and there was a vote, and then this went out. And so I haven't really heard anything on the specifics of this, but this person, I believe, was involved in that process, and looks like going to be releasing some data on that. And so as soon as that happens, I'll share it with you. But you can see, so there's some names blacked out here, but here's a little sneak peek they said. So these are, you can just read fragments of messages here, and this is May of 2018. It says, by the way, I like the symbol that you are using as your profile picture, and then it goes on, but we can't see the rest. And then here's another one that says, my hope is that if we get enough of the community to set up a formal, and then that's cut off. So it's basically like a little teaser picture here, and it goes on like that. But if there's sufficient data here, I'm sure I'm going to want to cover this again, because I've never heard anything on this, and you can't just access this information. These are private messages largely back and forth between people. So as soon as that comes out, I'm happy to share with you further. Just wanted to let you know it apparently is on the way. Now here's a tweet from Digital Asset Investor, one of my very favorite XRP YouTubers. And he retweeted something from Squawkbox, which I covered in a previous video actually, and it was Bitcoin is too big to fail at this point, this and that. And Anthony Pompliano was just a little snippet in like 1 minute long. And so Digital Asset Investor retweeted it, and he stated, "Go Anthony Pompliano. The financial crisis was the birth of decentralized digital assets and the death of banks. Too big to fail was the last straw for citizens of the world. And then Pompliano responded with 3 little fire logos, which is cool. And Digital Asset responded again and he wrote this, that too big to fail comment will be in history books. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I had to clear my throat. So a couple thoughts on this. I feel a little bit differently than the Digital Asset Investor. I've been listening to him for about a year at this point, and he puts out good information. I think he's a sharp guy. On this particular topic, I feel a little bit differently than him, so I thought I'd just share my opinion for what that's worth. As far as the too big to fail thing, and I think people like Anthony Pompliano in particular buy into the concept of course, as well as we know, in 2008, that's what, Bitcoin was born out of, that whole financial collapse and distrust of the government, this and that. And then the whole idea is that because of that, Bitcoin would be adopted and kind of save the day, and people are going to use that as money one day. And countries will lose their monetary sovereignty, perhaps, and displace the United States dollar as a means for paying for goods in the United States and as a global reserve currency and all that good stuff. I think that it's possible for cryptocurrencies to be adopted long-term, as a peer-to-peer cashless system, as Satoshi Nakamoto initially envisioned. But here's the truth of it all. Yes, what happened in 2008 was terrible, and yes, there were some shady actors and there were some bad bankers out there for sure, and I'm on board with what Pompliano and Digital Asset Investor believe on that front. To that point, I'm absolutely on board with them. I agree with the vast majority of what Digital Asset Investor has to say, actually. But when it comes to displacing the U.S. dollar via cryptocurrency and the death of banks, first of all, banks are never going to die because they can be used for all sorts of other things, loans and this and that. I don't think they're going away. Also, they can become custodians for cryptocurrency. There's all sorts of reasons that banks won't go away. What they look like could change, but they're not just going to go away. And there will always be people out there that don't want the responsibility of maintaining their own keys, their private keys for cryptocurrencies. It's just not going to happen, from my opinion. And so beyond that, in terms of, is a cryptocurrency going to be used? Well, talk about down with banks, and Bitcoin is just going to take over this. And Digital Asset Investor, he's a real strong voice in the XRP community. So I'm not saying like he's. I don't want to mischaracterize what he stated, but so I'll use Pompliano as a result, just to avoid any potential confusion, because I don't want that to happen. Anthony Pompliano is of the mindset that eventually Bitcoin would be used as money in place of fiat currency. It's just going to rule the day. That's it. That's what Bitcoin maximalism is. Here's the point that additional point I wanted to make on that. Yes, okay, the collapse of 2008 happened, but despite investors losing all sorts of money in terms of the value of the stock market, what it go down, cratered by 40% or something like that. In terms of functionally using the United States dollar, nothing has changed. I am still using it, and if the market crashes again, I'm still using it. The only thing that I can see, or at least the primary thing just off the top of my head, that would really derail that and make it more likely that a cryptocurrency could potentially one day be used for as a peer-to-peer cashless system, is if there were runaway inflation with the United States dollar. If that actually happened, and it was extremely volatile and trust was lost within it, and then you're talking about an economic catastrophe the likes of which we've never seen, short of maybe the Great Depression. And so that's not what I'm saying is happening. And that's why I'm saying I don't see that happening anytime soon. Now, if it does happen, if the dollar collapses, or if there's runaway inflation, whatever, that's only something like that would open up the door. But people like me and the rest of the people in this country, there's no incentive to switch over. And so, as far as the too big to fail thing, I don't know. I just, my opinion differs a little bit on that. But again, like I said, as far as DAI is concerned, the vast majority of stuff he says, I agree. And even if I don't agree with him on certain things, I absolutely respect his opinion. He's a great voice, a very valued XRP community member, no doubt. So I want to be real clear on that also. And I listen to him just about every day. So I listen to, that's how into crypto I am. And XRP, I spend sometimes hours a day prepping to make my videos and then recording them and making the thumbnails and all that stuff. And then when I'm done, I walk my dog, or I'm driving my car to go see my girlfriend or whatever, and I'm listening to crypto stuff. So it's probably a little bit too much for the average person, but that's kind of where I'm at. But I'm always listening to him and all sorts of others like Thinking Crypto, Modern Investor, Alex Cobb, Jungle Link, and I'm probably leaving, Crypto Eerie, investment perspective. I listened to pretty much all of them, and if I forgot any there, then my mistake. But it was a crypto attorney. I just found out about him like a week ago. I've only listened to like one of his videos though so far. But yeah, there's all sorts of people out there. But anyway, and here's another tweet from him, and I thought this was cool. Digital Asset Investor tweeted this out today. In 2 days, both the Fed chair and the POTUS, that's the President of the United States, spoke about Bitcoin and crypto. Average Joe sitting at home eating his TV dinner watching Seinfeld reruns will soon be a crypto buyer, and I absolutely share that sentiment. I think it's still coming, and you're looking at a world in which, in terms of adoption of cryptocurrencies, even just on the speculative front, forget the utility for a second, even on the front of speculating, almost no one on the planet has ever bought or sold a cryptocurrency, but they do have staying power. You know, God forbid I'm wrong about XRP and it goes to zero. Cryptos are still here to stay. That I'm even more sure of. Now, I'm a Mr. XRP bull, so I'm not saying that. I think it's got staying power, but I'm just making the point that they're here to stay. And so, that's funny about Seinfeld. By the way, I love Seinfeld. That's one of the best shows of all time. There's not a single Seinfeld episode I don't like. And if you disagree, no soup for you. But you only get that if you watch the show. But yeah, and then you see that, and then obviously institutional investors getting in. Like all of this is coming to a point where it's going to be impossible to ignore this asset class, and that's why I'm so bullish about it. First of all, yes, the space, but also those coins that actually have utility. So I just wanted to highlight that because I thought it was a cool tweet. All right, now here's a little back and forth between XRP Fudster and Matt Hamilton, and he's a heavyweight in my mind. So here's the Fudster. His name is Blaziek, at Blaziek, Blaziek. I hadn't heard of this individual before, but stated, this is also why Bitcoin is awesome. Nodes, decentralization, is that most important thingy. Do not agree? No problem, just hodl the United States dollar then. Or XRP or any other centralized S-word coin. Okay, and so Matt Hamilton responded, yup, that is why XRP is even more decentralized than Bitcoin in that regards. The control of the XRP ledger is spread even more widely, not 3 or 4 parties in a single geopolitical area holding the majority. And then the Fudster responded, nodes, how on earth you see 3 to 4 parties running Bitcoin nodes? This part, XRP is even more decentralized than Bitcoin in that regards, is not worth commenting on. Sorry, I would just recommend education regarding nodes, what they are, who can run them, and what they do. And so Matt responded. He doesn't even know who he's talking to, apparently. Like Matt, he knows his tech stuff. So then he responded, yes, I know what nodes do. Yes, he does. But I also know that the ability to double spend and or censor transactions is related to mining power, and that is concentrated in a few hands. Luckily, XRP doesn't have that problem as control is spread much wider geographically, and that is for sure. And also, since there's no, this is me speaking now, but since there's no monetary incentive to run a node, to be a validator, you're doing it because you want to be a legit participant within the ecosystem. And that's why even if bad actors come in, it takes a long time to build trust, and it takes one malpractice to lose all of that trust. And then if that happens, you can take that node off of your unique node list. So not really a problem anyway. So anyway, the Fudster responded, XRP nodes, 1,026 of them. Bitcoin nodes, 9,676. And then he writes, numbers do not lie, feelings and opinions do. And then Matt responded, yes, and your feelings and opinions have led you to a false sense of security as you do not understand what those numbers actually mean. Learn about the different consensus mechanisms of each blockchain and you will understand better. And then he continues, because by your simple numbers, I could spin up 100,000 XRP nodes at home and would be more decentralized, in quotes. When clearly that is not the reason why XRP is more decentralized. It is to do with the diversity and distribution of the control and power. And exactly, and that's absolutely spot on. It's not about the quantity of nodes, it's about who the nodes are, where they're located. That's more important, is it not? And so, good luck. And you really could. You could try and spin up a bunch of nodes and take over, and you're not going to be able to. Because the technology is just completely different. It's like the concept, by the way, of a 51% attack, it's not even possible on the XRP ledger. There is no such thing as chain reorganization. It's just not happening on XRP. And and when it comes, that's why I like the worst that can happen with XRP, even if there were some malicious actor, all you could do is temporarily halt the server. It would probably be really brief. and then it would move on, and then whoever was the bad actor would no longer be trusted, and they wouldn't be able to do it again. So you spend all that time building up trust, and then you're just cast aside, and that would be that. And so that's why it's silly. But the Fudster here in this case doesn't know that. Isn't that lovely? Oy, oy, oy. All right, on to the next piece here. The lover of all crypto tweets out hypothetically, if XRP tip bot was XRP's only use case, it would still have a stronger active working use case than 97% of all the other crypto assets out there. I can't remember if I've made this point or if I've just been thinking it in my own mind for a really, really, really long time, but I have absolutely thought that. It's definitely true, because there's real utility, and even if it's just our little ecosystem, the XRP community here on Twitter right now using it, well, first of all, there are a lot of transactions using it, but I could see it expanding outward further as more people realize that it's actually quite easy to use. There could be certain level of adoption, especially as crypto is adopted, and then you could see people moving value in that capacity, utilizing this actual technology, because you don't have to be way into crypto to use it. You definitely don't. You can send XRP via the XRP tip bot instantly to anybody on Twitter, and it's quite fantastic. And I want to share this with you too. This is an infographic, and I'll put the link below in case you want to click on this. But the creator of it, XRP Crow, tweeted out, "Did you know you can send up to 500 XRP tip on the mobile at XRP tip bot app? You can withdraw up to 1,000 XRP a month. Still don't know how to use at XRP tip bot? How-to guide." And then there's a link to that. And here's the image right here. I'll open it in case you actually do want to pause the screen and take a look at it. But otherwise, I'll put the link below so you can check it out here. But he puts together the best infographics. They're all over. If you see a cool infographic having to do with XRP, probably XRP Crow made it. He's really talented and puts out good stuff there anyway. So that's all I got for you in this particular video. Thank you so much for listening. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea.